Cassini Beats. Cassini Beats. Cassini Beats.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. We just got it wrong.
Cassini Beats.
Wrong screens open everywhere. There we go. MLB grind. What's up, Pojen? What's up, Ricky? We doing all right? Yeah, Gilbert. He took that personally. Is it just me, or like the Tigers are like, we're gonna drop 2 on an elite pitcher and then stop? I feel like, and to the Tigers' credit or discredit, they've been seeing a lot of great pitching for the first week of the season, it feels like. But yeah, Gilbert definitely bounced back. A lot of strikeouts today, all throughout the league. A lot. Trying to recap some stuff right now. We've got a couple games still going. Top of the 7th, Padres, Guardians, the Cubbies and Athletics got 10 runs going, 6 for the Cubs. Kyle Tucker hit a bomb, easy one. Tigers are up 3-0 on the Mariners. The Braves, surprisingly right now, up 1-0 on the Dodgers. Dustin May is looking good. I know they let one up, and that might have not been fully his fault, but he's looking pretty solid. Looking at scores throughout the league. Tampa dropped 7 on the Pirates. Pirates got blanked 5-3. Blue Jays over Washington. The Rangers 1-0 in Great American Small Park on a game that wasn't on the main slate. We got an old-fashioned Greg Maddux out of Nathan Eovaldi with some Ks to boot. So if you guys played that, I'm sure Eovaldi was likely the highest owned pitcher, and that probably just made things weird. D-backs dropped 7 on the Yankees. Yankees score 5. I was definitely on the D-backs offensively. I think yesterday on the stream I was very, very pessimistic, but they scored 7 in a way I kind of didn't account for. I thought Will Warren was going to kind of get bopped. Yeah, Corbin Carroll homered, but a lot of this damage came in off the bullpen. And Eugenio Suarez hit a 4-run shot to kind of really shook things up. Funny, on my side, I was stacking D-backs in a lot of the PrizePicks cards. I went crazy on Corbin Carroll fantasy points, Ketel Marte fantasy points. I thought Pavin Smith would homer. And then, of course, I jammed the under on Will Warren. Ironically, Will Warren left the game. I don't say ironically, maybe a little luckily. The Yankees had plated 2, I think, off of an error, unearned runs. So Warren got through 5. It was actually going to leave with the win eligibility, and then that Eugenio Suarez takes the win back from him. So I actually did hit the unders on Warren, but almost didn't deserve it. Got the Carroll overs, did not get Pavin Smith, and Ketel Marte was not really super impactful for what I needed him to do in terms of prop betting. The Angels and the Cardinals, they went to overtime 9-7. Weird game, right? Angels scored 9, no homers. Angels scored 9, and for DK, it was a bunch of... There was a pinch hit, 14 fantasy points from Kyron Paris, Nolan Shanuel in the 7-hole. Mike Trout scored 13. And then on the Cardinal side, 1 homer out of the bat of Jordan Walker. So 16 combined runs for 1 homer. And on the Cardinal side, for 7 runs, only one guy scored... One guy other than Jordan Walker and his home run scored double digits. So, man, it's kind of crazy. Royals got blanked by the Brewers. Brewers ended up dropping 5. Chad Patrick started that game, 4.2 innings, 5 strikeouts, 3 hits, 3 walks. I was definitely on the Royals offense there. So, them getting blanked, not what you want. On the Brewers side, Yelich did hit a bomb. So did Eric Haas in the 9-hole, former Tigers legend. And then the Marlins beat the Mets. Juan Soto draws a walk. Nimmo hit a bomb, but Sandy looked good. And Kyle Stowers hit a bomb for the Marlins. So nothing too terribly surprising from the league today. Just we saw a lot more strikeouts, and now we're getting a deeper sample size on these on the torpedo bet controversy, so maybe people will kind of chill out a little bit. We are seeing right now another high scoring game out there in Sacramento, I guess, the Athletics minor league park. Again, we went through Luis Severino last night. He was incredibly lucky when you looked at his performance in game 1, where he walked away somewhat unscathed, but a 4.39 xFIP in that game with actually, let me go to game log. With 100% left on base on 4 walks and 3 hits in 6 innings, on top of that 4.81 xFIP. So he was incredibly lucky, and he was going into a game against a pretty hot Cubs team. I like that Cubs offense, and it did not last long before they got to him quick, fast, and in a hurry. Suzuki got one, Kyle Tucker got one. Last I looked, he was at 3 earnings, but 4 runs, and now, yeah, they got a 6th spot. So I think we need more sample on how much credit we give to the stadium versus the bad pitching the Athletics are throwing out there. But nonetheless, it all felt like a boost versus the Coliseum any which way you sliced it. So, yeah, shout out to Kyle Tucker, man. I think that's 4 games in a row for him, even though yesterday might have been a little cheesy. This stream brought to you by MLBGrind.com. Tomorrow is certainly a day to grind MLB all day long, all day strong. There are baseball games all day, and Fanduel and DraftKings have decided to be completely different and somewhat difficult to, between their main slates. Fanduel's offering 3 slates, the very early only, which is the Reds home game, Rays home game, Brewers, Cards, White Sox, all their home games between 11:40 and 1:10 my time. So like basically 1 to 2 Eastern. And then the Fanduel early only, 2:07 to 3:40 my time. Blue Jays, Athletics, Mariners, Astros, Padres, Marlins, all those home games. And then the Fanduel main has a 4-game of the heavy hitters. I mean, stacked offenses on that slate, but some solid pitching. The Orioles home game, Phillies, Yankees, Dodgers. And then the DraftKings main slate is noon to 3:40 my time. And that's essentially got all the games except the Reds game and the night slate. So that's a full-on slate to play. And then the DraftKings late slate, which is the aforementioned Fanduel main slate. So baseball all day. If you ain't got time to crunch lineups and see what kind of swaps and lineup adjustments are going to be made, there's plenty of prop betting out there to be had. And hopefully, as we crack the book open tonight, we could find some fun leans. This will be a couple of day 1 starters, a couple of day 2 starters coming back out for their second starts. It will also be maybe a spot where some teams think about resting some players, especially some of these late games. Like right now, the Cubs, what did we say? The Cubs, Athletics, the Padres. A couple of these teams that are playing literally right now have to short turnaround and play a little earlier tomorrow. Sometimes you see that back-to-back, night to day. A couple of the elder statesmen will get the night off, the day off, and we really haven't seen a league-wide travel day yet either. So maybe something to keep on an eye on. We might not have the atypical A lineups for offenses throughout the league. A little bit of weather from what I saw at first glance. But I'm not a weatherman, and I can only speculate from where I'm at. But it does look like that the Cardinals, basically the games that had weather today, the Cardinals, the White Sox, those type of games, you might want to write an asterisk if you are taking notes or studying the old-fashioned way tonight. Maybe those games get impacted by rain tomorrow. The Cardinals game is at 1 Eastern. The White Sox game is at 2 Eastern. So as I've said, it's going to have to be pretty steady for a while for those games to be in postponement risk. Because they got all day to wait. But just something to keep in mind as we start perusing the slate and getting some research done. Tampa pitcher, boom, yeah. He found that velo. It's pretty good. Little NHL rant from me. Let me get monetized. I would donate for Ghost Creamsicle. Yeah. Whatever. It's like not It's like not knowing the starting pitcher like 15 minutes before starting the game, like 15 minutes before the game. What are you waiting on? With we didn't have like a goalie or something. What a boss for hard to find stacks. Good pitching. Yeah, a lot of solid pitchers on the bump tomorrow. When we say times, we're talking Easter. I'm talking Central for me. Well, at first I was. Now, looking at when I was discussing the weather, the Cardinals game, it'll all be in the spreadsheet. I don't. When we go game by game here, we have the times at the top corner, and I'll repeat the times then. But essentially, if you were attacking DFS tomorrow, there's a lot of topped up slates, so kind of keep that in mind as you pace yourself throughout the day. Goalie confirmation, gotcha. All right, chat. The only thing I need, if you guys are watching baseball in the corner of your eye, I need anything out of Ian Happ to make it a profitable night for PrizePicks, and it looks like he just generated an out prior to another Kyle Tucker double, so may not get another at bat from him, but we might. So if he can do something in that final at bat, I don't even care if it's sure on a walk. That's all I need out of him, and I'll be good to go as far as another profitable night. Let's dip into the slate. This is the MLBgrind.com premium spreadsheet. You guys want access to it? It's behind the wall over here at MLBgrind.com. Click premium membership, sign up. Somebody asked me on Twitter today. I'm not gonna name names. No, I'm just kidding. Somebody asked me on Twitter if I could wait till tomorrow so I can get the season pass. I was like, yeah, I don't care. So we did push the what's on the screen, under 200 for April 1st only. We'll do another day on it by request, whatever. So if you guys want to join him and take advantage of that tonight, tomorrow, that'll be up through Tuesday. Otherwise, we have week passes, month passes, and then you jump into that members portal. There's gonna be 2 links, one to the spreadsheet, one to the Discord. And tomorrow's gonna be a weird all-day thing where I hate days like that, but I'm gonna do my best to have the spreadsheet ready to go so you guys can expedite your research, make your decisions on whatever it is you're grinding. And whatever you are grinding and you do sign up for premium, let me know. I'm kind of like keeping a running survey on what people are using this data for, so I can keep tailoring to the data, whether it be prop betting or DFS or PrizePicks, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Let me fix something real quick because I see it. Sometimes when I transfer this data, I've got it to where all the Latin names with the Latin characters, I've got a quick fix for that. But on Christian Encarnacion Strand, his name gets cut off. So while I'm looking at it, go ahead and fix that. And the way we do that is we're gonna go Christian Encarnacion. His name gets cut off, so we're just gonna find and replace all. We did a little bit more tonight on coding and testing the offensive stats, or excuse me, the offensive projections. So I've been holding myself to a, by the end of this week, kind of timeline to have that. I've been doing handcrafted pitcher projections. I feel like I might hold on to doing that. Like, I feel like I might keep doing the pitcher projections with a lot of manual input. But obviously it wouldn't be that efficient to do offense. But yeah, if you're looking for hitter projections, by the end of this week, I'll have that rolled out, and I'm gonna try to have it crunch for DK, Fanduel, and PrizePicks. Have a little fun with it. Bill had such good stuff, he could just put it together. Yeah, I was a little surprised the way they were getting to him early on, but that's kind of been his issue. There's a couple of pitchers out there right now that you can see they got something, they got stuff, but they just gotta put it together. They gotta get a good coach analytic department, if you will, to help him squeeze it out. What's up, Rob? What up, Chronic? How does this affect the Soto's legacy? I mean, losing to the Marlins, a division rival. I gotta say, Mets overpaid. There's gonna be somebody that just click play on that and be like, "Yo, what?" All right, so this game, looking at the list, is just on the Fanduel very early, and like I said, the Rangers had Eovaldi drop Dos Pueblos on the Reds, 99 pitches CG, which is good. That bullpen's gonna need some rest to back up Jack Leiter as he twirls the seams against Hunter Green. Leiter had 5 innings in his first game this season. Kind of like we just said with Steele, you can see it, right? You've always seen it. You've seen it before he even got drafted. Had good swing and miss stuff in that first game. He's had good swing and miss stuff last season. 12.4% swing and strike rate in those 35 innings. Just can't put it together. And the Reds did get stifled yesterday, but you put him in this plus ballpark against a guy that can be a little bit wild and still trying to find it. Could be a good bounce back spot for the Reds, but it's also a well-rested Rangers bullpen that can maybe put out the fire early if things do go awry. So if you're playing the Fanduel only, I'm really not that intrigued by the thought of rostering a guy like Leiter, but one of these slates, he's going to get a matchup that that can maybe extrapolate his good metrics. He was only getting, he had a 14.6% swing and strike rate with just an 8.5% called strike rate. I wonder how many, I'm not going to look it up. I'm going to say, I wonder how many strikes he got from people chasing out of the zone to kind of bail him out. Sub 7% barrel rate. That's good, but expect that to increase going forward. On the other side, Hunter Green looked pretty sharp in the 5 innings of work for his debut. 1 expected ERA out of that game, 42% K rate, a 16.7 swing and strike rate. Fun with small sample sizes. We kind of got to look back towards the last few years. Not that that's a bad thing, where the swing and strike rate probably goes down a little bit to 13%, and we expect somewhere between 27 and 30% overall K rate. He is facing a projected Rangers lineup that doesn't have a ton of heavy strikeout guys, but there is some there, and you can kind of bet on the talent here. So at 9,800 on FanDuel for him in that early slate, I get it. It's kind of like a boom bust situation. We have seen Hunter Green struggle with command against lefties, and he cleaned it up a little bit more last season in terms of results and home runs per 9, but he still allows a lot of fly balls, a lot of hard contact. So something to keep an eye on. So I think if we tier this game, I'm going to go Hunter Green, I'm going to go Reds, and then I'm going to go Rangers, and I don't think Leiter's on the list for me. Let's look at the run total for this game. Looking at 8.5. And the Reds are minus 135. So looks like early money is leaning Reds to win. And it's 115 on the over. So it's not too stark contrast versus the early interest rankings that I'm jotting from that one. Signing up now. I appreciate that, Rob. I definitely appreciate, I think we're at 13 or 14 members at MLBgrind.com. And I said it a few times. I appreciate every one of y'all, because it's the only way that these streams are generating revenue right now. We don't have, I'm still waiting on PrizePicks and Underdog to kind of get back with me, because I used to have some stuff with them, but I don't know if after 2 years they just said no more. And then we don't have monetization on the channel, stuff like that. So the best way to keep these streams coming every day, even if you don't use what we put out, just go get a week pass here and there on the site. And I appreciate everyone who has. And it's also been cool to see some of you guys in Discord that I haven't been in Discords with before. I like the background music going. I was thinking about walking the earth like that dude in Kung Fu. You can start simple, write a script to scrape salary and player stats. Use pandas to merge that data with projections, create basic models to highlight value players. Stuff like. Yeah, so J3, I do have hit a project, like I've already started. It's not brand new, but I gotta iron out some issues. So right now the loose algorithm I've got, the formula for coding and what it's considering for the projection, all that basic stuff is like I've got that pretty much set. I've got a formula to consider stolen base potential, the offensive rating, the run total, the bomb detector rating, stuff like that. The main issue that we're having right now, that's kind of the hiccup between this getting rolled out, is lack of sample size on a couple hitters and writing the if not applicable or if less than certain sample size, then use like a median number. I got to roll that out for just about everyone, but having that is the biggest hiccup right now. And then of course kind of back testing. Now baseball projections are pretty crazily inaccurate long term, I guess you could say, but you got to have something to go off of. So I'm pretty proud of the pitching projections so far, but I have been working on their hitter projections. I just have a couple of Excel coding hiccups to overcome and write around. So I definitely have a strong foundation, I think, but I'm not like a super Excel nerd. It's all self-taught over the years, and finding the holes to kind of get some of that time to get some of that stuff written out and adjusted has been a little bit easier said than done. And then also I've been waiting on a week or two of bullpen usage and stats to kind of be able to account for the second half of games. You know what I mean? When the Panda expresses his background, I don't know, dude. You guys got something? I don't know. I've literally just been typing no copyright beats, and this came up. No copyright beats radio. That sounds cool. Actually, let's put shuffle on, right? And then here, wake up. Of course it's a Panda. I don't know, man. I don't like dead silence when it's just me talking. And the first two streams, I tried to play some background music, and it was horrendous music. But I kind of don't care about the copyrights right now because we're not monetized, so it's whatever. We were in the Asian restaurant background music week. Hey, man. Dude, I feel like my Asian restaurants around here, maybe I don't go out to eat a lot. I just pick stuff up or order. Dude, I feel like they kind of whitewashed the radio around here, dude. Any notes for this one? Let's just put, so now that I don't have to fill up these game notes with pitch counts from spring, I could put some more practical notes. Let's say Eovaldi CG'd yesterday, rested bullpen if Leiter gets in trouble early. And then on the inverse, I don't really have a note that stands out here. I will say Leiter's walk rate to lefties is a problem. 10+% the last 2 years. 40 innings of sample size. You walk Ellie De La Cruz, it's basically a double. And that kind of creates a good RBI potential for anyone behind him if Ellie doesn't already smack the ball, right? So something small to keep an eye on. Panda, man. Yo, Chronic, what's up with these Tigers, man? I feel like the Tigers have seen a lot of ace pitching to start the season. They might turn around and be good just because they keep seeing goats. And then after seeing Logan Gilbert and Roki Sasaki and whoever the freak else they had to look at in the first couple games, they're gonna go see like, I don't know, some Nestor Cortez or something stupid and drop 30, and no one's gonna be ready for it. Cole Ragan's taking on Freddie Peralta. 1:10 p.m. Eastern on this one. We've got a 3.8 run total for the Royals. We've got a Brewers run line at 3.9. So pretty low scoring overall. two really good pitchers. Freddie Peralta, one thing that got kind of like lost. First of all, the Brewers have like, is it 7 of 11, 11 of something? The Brewers have an incredible amount of pitchers on the IL. Let's see if I can pull it up. And they added more. Aaron Savali, Brandon Woodruff, Ashby. I mean, they are limping. So a lot has been made about how bad their pitching is overall, and that opening weekend in Yankee Stadium. And then yesterday, not the 1st, but March 31st, Royals continue to drop on the Brewers. There was at least some goodness out of Freddie Peralta. And Peralta, yeah, he gave up homers in that opening game against the Yankees, but we were talking wall scrapers. I think both homers would have not been homers in most stadiums. So make no mistake about it. I think Peralta is pretty good overall. And now that we open the book on this slate that both DraftKings and Fanduel's early stuff should include this one, I think Peralta's right there in the conversation. 15% swing and strike rate on opening day. Yeah, we expect that to be 13, 14, but it's elite no matter what. He's facing a Royals team that does not strike out a lot. Only Salvi and MJ Melendez have exceeded a 20% K rate since the beginning of last year against righties. So maybe we do taper our expectations, but we've said this with a couple of guys. We said it with Logan Gilbert, the Chris Sales, the Scoobles. There are some guys that are just next level when it comes to pitching talent. I think Peralta's kind of knocking on that door at 8,300 on FanDuel. With both teams having a sub-4 run total, I think it's a low enough price point to kind of be interested in. Inversely, Ragans did not get strikeouts in his first start, but the swing and strike rate was certainly there at 12%. So we expect everything else to fall in place. The 1.64 expected ERA, while everything else kind of fell through. Expect positive regression for that. What we can continue to be alarmed Mookie Dong, nice, is the walk rates for him going back the last 3 years to both sides of the plate. So if he's not super efficient, starts allowing some ducks on the pond, he can get in a jam. It's 8,100 on DK, 9,400 on FanDuel. Kind of the same. I feel less strong about him than Freddie right now. But I think he's in the blender for guys to play. So on the interest ranking, I'm going to put Freddie. This Royals team for me is just so hard to not take shares of day by day, just because I like the balance and the pop that they provide. I'm going to respect Freddie here as much as I can. Looking at last year with a deeper sample size against lefties, a 0.8 home run per 9. That's a good result, but the high hard contact, high fly ball rate, the 8.7% barrel rate, he could absolutely still get got. And looking at the pitch report, heavy on the slider, and that's Pasquantino and Bobby Witt. So if you want to substack Royals, I don't think that's a crazy thought, but I would have tapered expectations overall. But that looks like a decent shot for Pasquantino or Bobby Witt to kind of capitalize on a positive matchup that, one, they neutralize the strikeouts, they tap into a 200 plus aggregate ISO, and Bobby does give you some speed. So that's kind of what I'd be looking at on the Royal side. I think I'm gonna chill. We'll put Reagans here for now. I'm okay with that. Not a ton of WRC plus to speak of against lefties since the beginning of last year. Yelich and William Contreras, of course, and then everything else is average to below or slightly above. Vinny Capra, real hot bat in spring, has been fine throughout the first week of the season. Pretty cheap on both sides if you're looking for bottom of the barrel chip at a chair, but Cole Ragans, not somebody that I'm running to pick on. So that's how I rank that game out. So I got pulled. How do I get back in the Discord? I left a while ago thinking he wasn't coming back. The new Discord is linked at MLB Grind in the members portal. There was a public Discord we had for YouTube that just got overtaken by gambling bots. And I feel like with the content being just baseball, like we're not gonna have hundreds of thousands of views on, you know what I mean? We're not gonna have 3,000 view videos. I don't know that we should have a public Discord. Maybe if enough people kind of push at it, but I don't know. So right now it's just the premium Discord at MLB Grind. Next game on the docket, let's go Pirates and the Rays. Rays offense has been putting some runs up lately, but today they're going to run into Mr. Paul Skeens, and from where I'm sitting right now, they are home dogs against one of the most exciting arms in all of baseball. Skeens opening day, 5.1 innings pitched, a 35% strikeout rate. All of the metrics essentially picking up where he left off. The barrel rate a little bit higher, but you're going to get weird numbers with just 5 innings of sample size. So expect that to go back down. And this incarnation of the Rays lineup, middling in terms of strikeouts, there's a lane here with 20 to 26% K rate against righties. But we talked about those next level pitchers where matchup be darned. Chris Sales, you look at Sale tonight. Yeah, he gave one up. Some pitchers are just elite, and Paul Skeens is elite, and all year long, we're not going to be overthinking the matchup in terms of strikeout rates. Sometimes we'll use strikeout rates to push back if the ownership's a little bit elevated, but Paul Skeens is probably going to be a 12K pitcher in like 3 more starts, right? So Paul Skeens absolutely at the top of the interest rankings for me here. Pepiot, 18.8% swing and strike rate in his 5 innings of work. See if we can get some. It's the Rays. I mean the Rockies. Yeah, Rockies suck. 265 xFIP. So I don't want to overhype those metrics, but last year a 13% swing and strike rate in 130 innings of sample size, plenty to build off of. And Pirates are not being afforded a high run total, so Pepiot's in play as well. Offensively, I can't really see being interested in much here. This left field wall mimics the short porch in Yankee Stadium. So we've seen Brandon Lau get a couple of homers already so far. I think he got one yesterday. If you're really looking for a chip in a chair, maybe look his way. I think I'm more likely to figure out who can bleed one over on the Rays pitching here. 1.2 homer per 9 to lefties the last 2 years before Rockies opening game with a high hard contact. Matter of fact, pretty high hard contact rate in that. Yeah, how many lefties did he face on opening day? That seems extremely inflated. 2 innings, a double. Yeah, fun with small sample sizes. So a lefty with some pop. I guess O'Neal Cruz and maybe Brian Reynolds would be the 2 guys I look at to get some run support for Paul Skeens pre-flop based on the numbers we're working with. So don't think I'm getting to a stack there. Want to light some candles, take a bubble bath now for some reason? Hey, man. The Rockies pitching and the White Sox pitching results-wise has been elite. I was talking about their hitters. Something tells me that's not going to last. Angels and the Cardinals. Let me throw some yellow here for you guys that are going to be using a spreadsheet in the morning. Keep an eye on the weather report. 3.8 run total for the Angels. 4.4 for the Cardinals. You say Kikuchi taking on Sonny Gray. Kikuchi 6 innings in his opening bout. 11.5% swing and strike rate. 16.7% barrel rate. Obviously, that's not going to sustain, but the best version of Kikuchi altogether the last couple years. 9+% barrel rate. So he does challenge, or he does bleed some pretty hard contact, and against righties we've kind of seen that be a steady result. So this historically, I'd be like, yo, where's Tyler O'Neill? He's on a different team now. I think Wilson Contreras kind of sticks out as somebody we can take advantage of that. And then Jordan Walker, a 192 ISO against lefties since the beginning of last year. Doesn't hit for great average, but he doesn't strike out a ton. And if you can get around Kikuchi's strikeout rate, it's not going to be 15% against righties forever. It's probably going to be 22 to 24%. He might be a sneaky bottom of the home order to get into one off of Kikuchi. Looks like multiple hits against lefties thus far this season, but not enough sample for me to really harp on that. So give me let's see what kind of damage the bullpens are under after that game last night for the Angels. They went 11 innings. Looks like the Angels turned to Kyle Hendricks went 6. Anderson, Joyce, Kenley Jensen, McDaniels, and Johnson. So a lot of 1 inning appearances. McDaniels was only out there for an out and got hit. 2 earnings, 2 walks. Cease. Liberatore went 6 himself, backed up by 3 forearms. So a little bit of usage out of the bullpen for these guys. What they do on Sunday, if anything. Sunday, Johnson. And St. Louis threw out Helsley. So, Helsley pitched. That'll be 2 days straight for Helsley. He may not be available tomorrow on a short turnaround. Keep an eye on that. Otherwise, not enough for me to make a crazy prediction. Sonny Gray, 30% K rate on opening day, 15% swinging strike rate. Picking up where he left off on the overall K rate. I think Sonny Gray is absolutely a play here against this Angels team that, like I said, with all those runs they scored yesterday, I believe it was off of 0 homers. So you keep the ball in the park, and good things can happen. So assuming you get the clear go ahead from weather-wise, keep an eye on that. Right now, I'm looking at a park model that shows wind blowing out at 20 miles an hour to the left. I'm not a weatherman. If you're taking notes, we'll take a note. Let's say night 4 model shows big wind to the left. That's just something we check the day of. Let's see if that changes. Let's see if that actually means anything. If anything, for me, I think that's a boost for your righties to get into those Kikuchi home run splits and get a little boost over the left field wall for those pull hitters. So someone like Jordan Walker, maybe get a little old school flash from Arenado, but Wilson Contreras. Listen, I'm gonna go Cardinals Substack. Cards Substack. I'm gonna go. Let's write Substack in lowercase letters. I don't think I'm getting at Kikuchi. I think there's really solid pitching a lot. So if I even went back and sweep back through, and especially with weather concerns, I could see Gray getting yoinked from the pool if weather isn't permitting. So something to keep an eye on. So give me Sonny Gray, weather permitting, Cardinal Substack, and then I just don't think I ever full stack the Angels for the foreseeable future. You can one-off Trout all day, get a couple of handcuffs, go for it, but not up in here. What up, Paul? What up, BM? Hope you're doing all right. I'm thinking MLB Namaste instead of grind. I'll think about it. White Sox and Twins. Another rainy, ugly looking game like we had today. From the night before's weather, at least. They got it in. Or these early time slots, they get the games in. If it's not going to rain all day. But when it did play, it was very cold, a little wet. We did see some runs, but nothing's going to strike much excitement in me from just about anything in this game. 4.4 run total for the Twins, 3.3 for the White Sox. So minus 185 favorite is Pablo Lopez and the boys. Pablo, 5 innings in his first go round, 12.6% swing and strike rate. The results not what you want at 13.6, but that's what we call room for positive regression. The expected ERA, however, a little bit elevated, but again, 5 inning sample size. We're looking for positive regression, and we likely can look towards last season, 3.67 expected ERA. I think that's a solid number against the sea of red being offered by the White Sox lineup. So right off the rip, I think we're going Pablo at the top of our interest ranking. I'll keep an eye on weather, because it looks like more pitching weather if it doesn't rain. And right now I'm looking at 60% chance of rain. But like I said, I don't even try to split hairs on the weather, dude. That's just not my strength. So we'll put the responsibility on you guys tomorrow to kind of keep an eye on what the weather is looking like it's going to be and whether or not you can attack pitching. I don't really care about the offense much. Sean Burke on the opening day was somebody I was going crazy to pick on. And this is a classic example of luck results showing us that he was lucky. And this is what kind of put me on not believing in Luis Severino. An 6.6 expected ERA, 13% strikeout rate, and a 16.7% barrel rate. 0 earned runs allowed. See if we can get a little deeper into that one. And I remember we kind of looked into his spring and minor league campaign, and there's not much to be super duper excited about last year. In much smaller sample, less than 20 innings, he did have an elevated strikeout rate, almost 29%. And then if you look at his years prior and different levels of the minors, it's kind of all over the place: 33, 31, 48, 20, 29, and it really just a matter of sample size. But what we saw at the major league level looks like there's going to be some holes in his game against big league bats. That said, it's been a rough out of the gate here for the Twins. But if we can neutralize Buxton and Wallner's like K rates, there's some pop in those bats for sure. And since the beginning of last year, we got some really positive WRC pluses out of a lot of these guys in the lineup. So assuming everyone plays, so you don't get some of those back-to-back rests, or if this weather takes this game off the table, I think you can get behind, if nothing else, a Twin Substack. All this is weather permitting. Yeah. And then let's get back into Sean Burke a little bit. Let's go to that first game. Get a 5.26 xFIP. 100% left on base with a 167 BABIP. Yeah. Looks like his defense was really doing him some favors. MLB Sean Burke. Let's get his splits in the lower levels. last year. 47 innings of sample size against lefties. No homers. 206 average, 147 whip. He had a walk issue against lefties. Against righties, 8. Or no, I misspoke. There were 7 homers against lefties. I was looking at hit batsmen, not home runs. And then 8 homers against righties in 43 innings. So 1 per 10 is kind of like, okay, cool. This guy's almost 2. That could be a problem. And the walk rate to lefties looks like something to keep an eye on too. So he did have a 19% called strike rate in that first game, but even looking back at last year in a little bit larger sample size, it gets down to 13%. So yeah, I'm not buying what he's selling. I don't care what the graphic with him and Martin Perez looks like. I'm not buying it. Give me some Twins. Even though this is an ugly, ugly weather game. So Pablo and some Twins. That's how I play that. Not even Ice Cube can make these White Sox look good. Amen. You're waiting for your Publix sandwich tiers? I don't have a Publix down here. You guys ever been to Texas? We got HEB, bro. That's all we need, bro. HEB is like if God opened a grocery store. If you know, you know. Nationals at the Blue Jays. This game is part of the DraftKings main slate. And I guess Fanduel early only. But I didn't catch the pricing out of the CSV. I guess I didn't transfer that correctly, so I'll have to go back and do that. Not now, though. Nationals have a 4.5 run total. Dude, one thing about the Nats yesterday that was almost triggering me is I wrote it in the premium Discord, too. When I was hand making the pitcher projections, I was looking at the out props in the market. And I saw that. Here's what I wrote. I said I use Vegas odds on projected outs naturally to project innings pitched. Logan Gilbert at 18.5 is wild, but what is weirder to see is 17.5 outs for Berrios with Vig on the over. People love betting on Jose Berrios, and for a minute, it looked like it was gonna work, and then it wasn't. Dude, Ian Happ's really gonna hold me like that. That's crazy. Unfortunate. So shout out to the Nats for making me look like I'm not a bumbling fool sometimes. Every now and then. We've got a 4.5 run total for the Nats here against the Blue Jays with a 4.1 run total. Mackenzie Gore had an incredible opening day against the Phillies, 72% K rate. This was part of the Alec Bohm saga that I kind of discussed a few times over the opening day weekend, where Alec Bohm was hinting that the shadows, the daytime shadows at Nats Park, was contributing to their strikeouts. And then we kind of saw Jesus Luzardo, another lefty, have a solid day at the park. And then was it Garrett Mitchell? There was another lefty the third day that also had a solid day. So I expect him not to have a 70% strikeout rate long term. And maybe this is a buy low, sell high type of situation, where people might look at game one for Mackenzie Gore and be like, oh snap, this is Kershaw part 2. And we can maybe look at what's likelier to be Mackenzie Gore, and I would say it's the last 300 innings of sample size, where he's still a good pitcher. 1 in 4 K rate, 12+% swing and strike rate, but he can lose the zone. The 9% aggregate walk rate the last 2 years, both sides of the plate, a propensity to give up some power and xFIP, almost at 4. So I do think he's a good pitcher, but maybe this is going to be the highest value he gets from the public perception based on opening day against a Blue Jays team that their lefty splits are not that great, and the K rates, however, aren't that significantly high, and a couple of guys that do strike out at a high clip also kind of give you a little bit of power propensity. Anthony Santander, Alejandro Kirk, the two namely that come to mind. So something to keep in mind. Since the beginning of last year, this has not been a fun Blue Jays team against lefties, which is kind of crazy to even say that, looking at some of these names and some of the stats we know from years prior. So I get both sides of this story. I just want to, and if Mackenzie Gore has another solid game here, I'll probably kind of run that same mentality back sooner or later. I think at 7,600 on DraftKings, there's certainly 2 to 2.5x potential on that price point. And this lineup, I also want to believe that this lineup should be better against lefties long term. So I'm kind of on both sides here. I'm interested to see what the Gore ownership is. So I want to go Gore, Mackenzie Gore. I can't type. And I'm going to go Blue Jays. At least Substack. And now we're gonna go look at Easton Lucas. Or not. Oh, we gotta go back one. There we go. See what his spring was looking like. 4.2 innings in March. Threw 42 pitches. So this might not be somebody we expect to go deep. A 193 whip, 136 whip. And it's a lefty. All right, let's add that to the notes here. So 42 pitches on 313. I feel like he should have pitched already. Did he by chance do a round in the minors? Easton Lucas. No. Last year in the minors for Lucas, though. 27 innings against lefties, 2 homers, a 252 average allowed, 167 whip, and it looks like 19 walks against lefties. So command is certainly an issue for him, especially against lefties. It was kind of interesting. 53 innings against righties, 3 homers, 18 walks, 211 batting average, 109 whip. So, the reverse splits. Probably not something that he's gonna have to worry about. I guess CJ Abrams, did they lead him off against a lefty? I feel like the numbers would tell me yes in this matchup specifically, but sometimes skippers don't think like that. Nate Lowe, CJ Abrams, is he reverse splits? CJ Abrams since beginning last year at 123. WRC plus against lefties. That might be a sneaky. You're gonna pay $5K for that though. That's our favorite though. I don't think there's a reason to get to Lucas. It seems, if nothing else, he's got questions about how many pitches he's gonna throw, and there's just so much good pitching on this slate that no. And then let's go Nationals. Substack. And what I mean by substack is like 2 to 3 guys, a concentration on 2 to 3 guys. For me, stacking means you could spray and pray basically 1 through 9. But with most of these teams so far, kind of got a short list on guys I want to key in on. Have we offered a full stack yet? Not really. Oh, Reds and Rangers, but that's not really going to be on a playable slate for most of us. Hopefully that'll change. All the games are over. What's up, Julia? Yeah, looks like I got dogged by Ian Happ. He's the one. 2 guys that kept me from making having a comma in my winnings tonight was Pavin Smith. Could tell Marte didn't help, and then Ian Happ, man, looks like he let me down. But now the Dodgers still going, yeah. Dodgers are a problem. Yo, good for Dustin May, man. Struck out the side in the first inning. You can tell he's pretty emotional. Easy to root for kind of guy. Happy for him. What's up, Fistula? Am I in Houston? No. What's up, Earth to Air? We doing all right? Gore will be fired for 2-3 months, and his stuff was elite. Yeah. I'm not anti-Gore for sure. I just think there was some stuff going his way. And the Phillies, man, I don't know what it is. They're having a little bit of a issue with lefties that can strike you out. Gore's good. None of that was to detract from Gore's day, but it was something we were tracking with all the left-handed pitching throughout that opening series, where any lefties with any type of strikeout stuff were maybe overperforming a little bit. What's up, ACP? Hope you're doing all right. Lived in the Woodlands for a couple months. HB was great with samples, so we get baked and just walk around. Dude, my little town, I always call it a little town. It's a decent town. We got, dude, I might have like 5 HEBs I can go within like 10 miles. It's nice. Let's not go to that HEB. Let's go to the good HEB. Why don't the sites make a main slate? All the games, not just 4 games at the back end. I don't know what they're doing, Julia. I don't know if there's an actual human that makes those slates or an automated process or what. But also, keep in mind those sites are trying to make money off of us, right? Squeeze a couple slates out if you're a little different than the other site, if you're getting a little away from NBA locks, stuff like that. A lot to consider from a provider standpoint. Cubs and the A's. Cubs with a 4.4 run total. Athletics 4.4 as well. Jeffrey Springs taking on Jameson Taillon. Taillon opening day went 4.1. A 4.5% K rate, 6.3% swing and strike rate. Just didn't look great. Nothing to like for DFS. And even without opening day in mind, I don't see myself getting the Taillon on the average slate, especially the slate that offers some of the upside that pitching has today, because Taillon's not typically going to be a strikeout guy. So some guys, like you saw today with Logan Gilbert, if they get a jam, give up some earnings, get some of those negatives early, they can fight their way back. If Taillon gives up 2 in the first, there's really not a ceiling to be had out of him that can make him the nuts in DFS, right? So don't really have any interest in getting to Taillon. Inversely, Jeffrey Springs, I think, is good. I got maybe a little bit of a ceiling performance out of him results-wise in that first game, but unlike some of these other guys, the Severinos, the who we talk about, the Sean Burks, it wasn't like the metrics disagreed that he's good. Like, not like he got extremely lucky. Maybe the called strike rate is kind of low, but I don't really care. He's just a good pitcher. For him here, the challenge is I think the Cubs are good as well offensively, and we've seen those bats be very much alive throughout throughout the first week of the season, especially here in Sutter Health Park. So I think Jeffrey Springs is easily the best pitcher the Cubs have seen here in Sutter Health Park. But inversely, I think there's at least a case to be interested in rostering Jeffrey. Wouldn't be at the top of my list here, but he's there. But let me give some athletics some respect here. And this is weird that I'm not putting Substack next to the athletics as a stack potential here, but I'm not. A lot of ISO that we can tap into here in this athletics lineup, and we saw it a little bit last night. Shea Langoliers, Brent Rooker. Last night, tonight, depending on when you're watching this, those bats were alive. And now, for a lot of these guys that do have the high ISOs, we can neutralize their high K rates. The 30% K rate to righties since the beginning of last year for Brent Rooker, the 27% for Shea Langoliers. Taillon's not there to strike. Like, he's not really a big strikeout guy. So you're going to challenge those bats to put the ball in play and tap into some of their power. I'm in. So I'm in on a full athletic stack here. And then I'll put Jeffrey Springs in the blender. And then I'll also put the Cub stack in the blender. So I like three sides of this game. Sanz, Jameson, Taillon. Former Yankee, great. And that's how we'll play that. What up, Ricky? How'd I do tonight? 6 from Arkansas. So PrizePicks looked really promising, and then it didn't. I had like basically one guy on each card that kind of let me down. A lot of that was Pavin Smith, and then it was Ian Happ. Ian Happ had the ability to make this a guaranteed profit night. I haven't gone back and looked since, but I'm expecting that I lost money on PrizePicks tonight, and then DFS I went super light. I only went 20 lineups, and it looks like that's a kind of a wash. Let me check. Kind of a wash. I think it's mainly a wash because all the pitchers were good. Looking through it. That looks like I'm gonna be slightly above because of my self-loathing interest in the D-backs, and I had a lot of Kyle Tucker and he homered. He had a great game. So I actually made some money on DFS. Now I don't know when you add that together with PrizePicks though if it's overall net profit, but at least profited on the DFS side. Man, what a night it would have been if Pavin Smith, even Ketel Marte fell flat for me. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Got lights off, candles light in the tub. Jesus, did you play Steph Curry tonight? He made me money. Julie, I don't play NBA DFS at the moment. I ain't got time to track news, man. I'm a busy dude. That's why we're here for baseball this season. Not necessarily cutting you off on the basketball talk, but one of my commitments right now is to be the guy that's full sent into baseball. There's a lot of goats. Some of the smartest people in baseball betting are also the smartest people in basketball betting and have to track so much and provide content. So right now, my commitment is to know as much as I possibly can, research as much as I can about baseball, and kind of at least be that rock resource for community research. And that comes at the expense of playing other sports and grinding other sports. So I ain't got time to track the news of NBA. It's crazy. Yeah, Pavin Smith let me down. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? That's live. Tigers at the Mariners. Next on the docket. 3.4 run total for the Tigers. Mariners at 3.2. A very low scoring output, and that's because on the bump, Tariq Skubal taking on Louis Castillo. Boy, that is your I don't know if they do no run first innings, but I bet the under on that is like minus 200, huh? All right, start from the top. Both pitchers 100% in play, so without a doubt we're typing those names up. If we're considering matchups and scariness of opposing matchups. I think I don't even know how to slice that one up. Both teams strike out a considerable amount. I think the Tigers strike out overall more against righties, but these are pitchers that are right there on. I'm not too worried about matchups because I know that they're talent. Now both pitchers are coming off a rough first game, results wise, especially strikeout wise. Man, give Scooble a little bit of credit. He's facing the Dodgers, and Castillo, was that the Athletics? Let's go look at some of the underlying metrics for Castillo in game 1. Oh yeah, it was the Athletics. 5 innings for him, 4 strikeouts, a 4.46 xFIP, a 71% ground ball rate. You like that? The 154 BABIP's a little bit on the lucky side. The walk rate, 2 walks and 5 is not what you want. We go put some of the batted ball data in here. 3.78 Sierra. I'll kind of take that. What about plate discipline? 11% swing and strike rate, 71% first pitch strike. Some to like, some to hate, but I'm instantly there on both pitchers. Not really going to hold game 1 against them in a short sample, and both guys are in a good spot, and this is a good park. A 91 offensive overall factor, that's 9% below league average. And looking at the weaknesses from either guy, the weakness for Castillo, 23-24, homers to lefties. It's a little bit more forgiving park, for 6% below league average, and homers to lefties. Righties, it's really, really rough to get one out. But that's not been an issue for him anyway, so I'm not going to overthink it. I'm going to get to both pitchers. I can't really paint a scenario of a weakness for either guy. And you look at Tariq Skubal, this projected Mariners lineup comes out extremely righty heavy right now, with JP Crawford being the lone southpaw. So really key on these righty splits. 33 aggregate K rate against righties the last 2 seasons. I mean, that's just insane numbers. So I can't really co-sign a sub stack, not even just to be different. Just give me the pitchers here, and that's all I got to say about that. What's up, Squeak? Listening, so I might as well make early lineup on Fanduel slightly more fun than throwing money out the window. Yeah, just be cognitive of lineups being confirmed. A lot of teams haven't had a travel day yet, as far as like a day off in between series, and some of these teams are night into day games, so you might get some funky lineups. Maybe need to post what slate you're breaking down. Julia, I'm going over every game tomorrow in the Major League Baseball Association League from the Department of the Redundancy Department. At the top of the stream, I did kind of like list off the fact that each site has different slates, but just for the heck of it, I'm just going to game by game and writing what's good, what's bad in my mind. Pre-flop, yeah. Why Fanduel DK have different teams in their early main or early? I don't know what they're doing, bro. I don't know what they're doing. I swear, it's like they're in a group chat. It's like, yo, how can we make this as annoying as possible for content creators and people that have to dish out third-party CSVs? And then they just draft what games they want. It's stupid. Astros hosting the Giants. Landon Roop taking on Framber Valdez. Giants a 3.6 implied run total. Astros 4.6, sizable favorites here. Trying to bounce back from yesterday. We got 50 innings of sample for Roop last year. Contact pitcher. Throw strikes. Unless you're left-handed, apparently. How do you have a 21%? Okay. All right. High whip, high expected ERA. Go look at some minor league stuff. Not minor league. Maybe some spring. See what we might be dealing with. 62 pitches on March 9th. That's a big gap. That's almost a month. Any where you been, Landon? "32 innings in the minors last year against lefties, 159 average allowed, 1.5 whip again. Looks like 30 walks in 32 innings. That's crazy. That's a little insane. .42 innings against righties, 243 average allowed, 114 whip. Good ground ball rate. I don't know if he's like the double play king or what, but sheesh. He had an 18% walk rate at the big league level as well. So Yordan Alvarez walks 13% of the time, strikes out 13% of the time. That's going to be the out. If you can get him out, you're in business. With that said, this Astros lineup does project pretty righty heavy. And he did boast a 27% K rate last year to righties. Now, I'm going to circle through all this and say the Astros are not a team I chase for strikeouts. But we can at least say he strikes out righties at a good clip. 44.2 innings against righties with 61 strikeouts. If you can get around Yordan Alvarez, and these numbers aren't going to be 1-to-1 to the major league level, like, I could see a case being made for Roop. Now, this is probably not something I would act on for DFS, but maybe, just maybe, we get like a 3K prop or something that we could just chip in a chair. You know what I mean? That's a high K rate against righties if they go super righty heavy. And I got nothing on the board right now, do I? No. Okay, so kind of keep an eye on that. Dude, there's a lot of push lines. What the heck? Oh, no. Yeah, I don't got a line on this kid yet, but from where I'm sitting right now, dude, if they come out with some of that 3.5, I'd be interested in the over. But that's just spitballing out loud. If the Astros put out a lineup that only has one lefty, that could just be a bad projected lineup. But what's the pitches in the 62 pitches on the 9th? So I don't know if he's like thrown in between, but pitches on 39th. I got nothing in between as far as I'd assume there's some simulated games that fill the gap. Framber, 7 innings strong. Last time out, 12% swing and strike rate. Contact guy, negative launch angle guy. Hard to get excited to stack against him. And a 3.6 run total. You understand why. So let's go Framber Valdez here. There's not really a reason to punt pitching today with the names that are on the board. In another life, and another slate, I might be interested in a full righty Astros team as a surprise. But I'm just going to go Framber from here. And then Yordan Alvarez is the sweat for Root. So I'm going to go Astros Substack. Should be one slate for all the games. Would be a great slate. Miss Julia. You must be new here. No, I remember you from the other night, Julia. The more games on a baseball slate, the harder it is to win that slate. And I know that sounds like duh, but if all 15 games were on one slate tomorrow, it's gonna be like some random triple dong that just wipes the slate out. So I'm okay with chopping the slates up and kind of dispersing like pitching the way they did, and making a little bit more reasonable. That, and the lineups for the late games are not going to be out when the early slate locks. And maybe you can't handle that. I can't. Hey, I ain't mad at you, Miss Julia. I ain't mad at you. But you'd have to make some 8:38 p.m. Eastern decisions by 12:40 p.m. Eastern decisions. You know what I mean? That's a pretty wide gap between games to throw it all on the same slate. Yeah, the bigger the slate, the crazier the chaos and the higher the variance, and the first place lineups just look like people with time machines. So I'm okay with the 4 to 6s, even the occasional 6 to 8s. I'm with you on like it's all broken up and it's a headache, especially in my chair where I gotta like break it all down, and then I also gotta like be up in the morning. Like I like to do other stuff throughout the day. And I try to get around to the Discord and the spreadsheet an hour and a half, 2 hours before lock to get everything up for the subscribers. It's nice for one lock, and then I could just be free. Tomorrow there's probably going to be 2 designated times where my butt's got to be in this chair to tighten stuff up. The Braves stink. It's rough. Let's move on to the Padres hosting the Guardians. Ben Lively taking on Dylan Cease. 2 slates at the most, not a very early than Maine. Yeah, that's a Fanduel thing. I mean, you don't have to play them all, but I get wanting to reward your research a little bit more. Sometimes games that aren't on the main slate end up being games that I feel like would have sucked out a lot of ownership. And then, like, I definitely would have had some Eovaldi. I also probably would have had some Reds because I'm a stack the ballpark guy. But there's some outputs from games that I don't have exposure to throughout the day. Like, I was completely honest with everyone on, I think it was Sean Burke's first day, or the Martin Perez day. My goodness, I would have never. Sometimes it's not always a bad thing. Ben Lively's pitching for the Guardians today. Padres will be throwing Dylan Cease. The Guardians have a run total of, I'm going to guess 3.4. It is at 3.3. I was close. Padres are at 4.4. I've been waiting on that Padres explosion game, and maybe the daytime will be a little bit more offensive friendly for them. Lively was a surprise start for the Guardians in his first outing. I believe Tanner Bybee got like food poisoning, and then he had to start. He's a guy that we're not playing today. No strikeout stuff. Good advanced metrics in those 5 innings, but I'm not buying what he's selling. We're going back to our last 200 plus innings of sample size. Guys hittable. If you're gonna dare Fernando Tatis, Machado, those guys to put the ball in play, I'm there. So we're going Padres in the mix here. What's the bullpen usage for the Guardians look like? Dude, did you guys see Emmanuel Clase? He hit somebody square in the head the other night. So could you imagine getting hit in the head by him? F all that. April 1st. What the bullpen do against the Padres and their 7 runs? Paul Sewald, Cantillo with 2. They didn't go crazy there. 5 walks for Logan Allen. Come on. Don't say I didn't call it. So yeah, we're on a Padres stack for sure. And then Dylan Cease against this version of the Guardians. This is new life for me, because historically the Guardians have been so scrappy, like no power but no strikeouts. There's some strikeouts in this version of the Guardians lineup, and Dylan Cease can get strikeouts, a 30% aggregate strikeout rate. If you include this year to the last 2 seasons, he did have a barrel problem in game 1. But the Sierra's at 2.37, expected ERA 3.84. I'm not gonna sell the farm because he got smacked a little bit. I think the strikeout potential's there. The likeliness of a win is there, as he's a -180. So for Fanduel makes sense. And then with the Guardians, he has had a tendency to allow homers in the last 3 years to lefties. That's going to turn around J-Ram. We've seen a little bit of pop out of Manzardo so far. But, Kyle Manzardo. Let's see what Manzardo's minor league numbers for pop looks like, because I want to put some context behind some of the power numbers in short sample. We've been working with a 256 average, 362 OBP, 514 slug. I'll take it. 876 OPS. I take it. Is that 4 homers though? And oh wait, that's against lefties though. 876 OPS against righties. What's this number right here? 21 homers in 130 games. I'd take that. He might be a sneaky grab if you're just looking for how to cease fail in a vacuum. Thinking J-Ram and Manzardo are the guys. Seeing a little bit more ISO out of Kwan. I don't know if I am buying into it. But J-Ram and Manzardo, maybe Kwan if you're looking for a contrarian 1 through 3 on a shorter slate to push back. But give me Padres Cease. Not playing Ben Lively, not even if there's a fire. What up, Ayo? Love you, bro. Glad to have you back. Can't express this enough. My streams are therapy, dude. I appreciate it. Hey, sometimes when I lay down, I put on this sleep music on Spotify. It's like 8 hours of just weird jungle noises and water and blah blah blah. They have different tracks. How many of you guys fall asleep to me talking the most boring nonsense in baseball? Ah yes, hard contact rates and xFIPs. I'm gonna be able to sleep good tonight. I'm not even mad if you do, because I need the watch time. So you know. What up, Chandler? Am I paying up for Skeens or just running Scooble? So I mean, in one lineup on FanDuel, what would be the considering factors to be a tiebreaker? I guess one would be ownership. And Scooble is, I don't know. I want to say it's not really. Neither one of those pitchers can really kind of guarantee the win. Tigers are -120. I mean, Luis Castillo is a GOAT too. And then Skeens versus Pepio. He's only a -125. Doesn't get the benefit of a great offense. And that's in a potential 90-degree Steinbrenner field where Brandon Lau can get one. So I'm just trying to make a checklist of who's got more to overcome. Ah, man, dude, that's pretty close. That's a coin flip. I think I just go opposite ownership. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there. Fell asleep listening to you the other night. You went on forever. Don't tell you. That's why all you guys fiending for me and Terry to get on a show together. Be careful what you wish for. If you have me and him talking about 15 games, we might be done by next Thursday. Stats and robbing the bookies is therapy, so yes, I could fall asleep. The beats are a must, man. I don't know. I don't like the silence in my ears. I don't like it. Jesus, how long have we been live? Long enough, and we still got more. Mets at the Marlins. Mets looking to get their get back. With Clay Holmes on the bump, taking on Connor Gillespie. Mets have an implied run total 5.1. Easily the highest on any game we've discussed so far. Clay Holmes gets the pitch against not the Astros, so that'll be good. And Gillespie looked like an unremarkable guy from everything that I pulled 5 days ago. So I get it. I get why the Mets are minus 200 favorites right now. So right off the rip, we're going Mets offense, Clay Holmes, and then to refresh our memory. Where's the music at? Hello? Radio edit? Why would you need a radio edit that song? Like, what radio station's playing that? Hello? Let's go look at Connor. Dizzy Gillespie. And his minor numbers from last year. Yeah, we wondered if you would consider playing our song. We made a special radio edit. 51.2 innings against lefties last year. 242 average allowed. 139 whip. 11 homers in 51 innings. That's a little high. 24 walks. Okay. And then against righties, 68 innings, 11 homers. Still high, not as high per innings. 29 walks. That's a problem. And then 65 strikeouts, 62 strikeouts. So more than a strikeout per against lefties, less than a strikeout per against righties. Let's go look at his spring training from this season. 14.1 innings in March, 7 Ks, 1 homer, was a 0.5 ground out to air out ratio. The whip was fine. Wasn't walking people, and then he was. 2 walks in his last 2 outings with 8 hits in that last game, 2 bombs. Yeah, that's a really good spot for the Mets. Free flop. We're my boy Unique, man. This is the time for him to stand up and celebrate. This isn't Sandy Alcantara. You should beat up on Connor in 80-degree. I don't know if they opened the roof out there. Yeah, give me Mets and Clay Holmes. Now let's talk about Clay Holmes, because there's a little bit of suppressed K lines for him against the Astros, and I'm wondering if we might be able to get back into the mix. He had just a 6.7% swing and strike rate in that game against the Astros, but but his strikeout stuff was great in the spring campaign. You know what I mean? Thought we might get a little bit of value early on K props. In spring, 13.1 innings in March, 18 strikeouts, and then 5 and 6 innings the month prior. So I'm doing all this just to go look at Clay Holmes with a K prop of 4.5. With minus 145 on the over right now. So if we're value hunting, do we get Clay Holmes pitching props already on PrizePicks? We do not. Okay, well, if you can get 4.5 right now, looks like that line's easily going to be 5.5 by your cup of coffee. Something to keep an eye on. Definitely in on Clay Holmes. Also, in spring, there's a tab here. Here we go. We saw him throw 88 pitches in that last spring game. So with a start under his belt, he could be a 90+ pitch starter here. And that's something a lot of people may struggle to wrap their mind around because he's coming out of a bullpen for the last couple seasons. So, yeah. Need a video playtime? I will leave the playlist running. I appreciate that. Can't wait for Terry to be on. I got a list of movies or series for him and you to watch or comment on. No, when me and Terry do a stream, it's got to be on like a 6-gamer, dude. We just would get it. Just especially him. He's got to cover other sports. It's got to be on a 6-gamer. something medium. That way we can still extract some value. But yeah. Moving on, Red Sox and Orioles. So now we're talking night games. And via this list I made, this is the start of DraftKings late and Fanduel main. Garrett Crochet taking on Zach Eflin. Red Sox have a 4.2 run total. Orioles at 4. Crochet is a beast. Only a 19% K rate from that first game against the Rangers, but the swing strike rate was there. Whatever. Orioles are good though, so it's not like I'm ready to smash this bounce back game. Maybe he has another struggle game, and we could take advantage of a suppressed price and matchup. But he's still really doggone talented, so he's in the mix. Zach Eflin, last 2 years has not been a strikeout guy, especially harping on last year's 165 innings of sample size, a sub 20% K rate. This Red Sox team is certainly looking to right the ship offensively, especially a guy like Rafi Devers, who right now is on his Orioles Chris Davis grind. So how do we chop this up? And the Orioles, I'll just stack the Orioles every day. And this is unstoppable force and movable object type of situation. Last year, Crochet 34% K rate to righties. Didn't walk them. Hard contact rate. The $1.25 home run per 9 is kind of what we're looking at. And you're looking at this Orioles team with a lot of very respectable WRC pluses against lefties. Jordan Westberg has shown some power this season. Adley Rutschman has his power against lefties. Tyler O'Neill's crazy. Ryan Mountcastle is crazy against lefties. So this is both sides of the coin easily. For me, it's just a matter of what do I like more, Crochet or the Orioles. And it's kind of a dog race right now. I'm gonna go Orioles, then Garrett Crochet, then Red Sox. And unlike some of these other games, I'm okay with the full-on slot stack on both Orioles and the Red Sox. Don't think I'm getting the Zach Eflin. And Rafi Devers is still, he's not getting the 0 for a billion discount on either side either, man. They're pretty tight with their pricing. But if you ain't putting the ball in play against Zach Eflin, dude, now we need to talk about you playing third base. Because that's a problem. Orioles moved in their left field wall a little bit. Keep an eye on that. We're still trying to see how that's going to push back some of the previous year's park metrics. It was stealing some righty power. They went from... Actually, let's go look at the impact year over year. Orioles... let's see. Baseball, Savant. So let's go. 2022 righties update. Look for Orioles. Orioles were 10th, 7% above average in 2022. In 2023, they dropped to 20th, being 3% below average. And there is opportunity for a single season variance, but man, last year, just crazy, 21% below league average in homers for, wait, this is wrong. This is back at rolling 3 years. This is wrong. Everything's wrong. Everything's wrong. There we go. Now we're looking at it last year. Orioles were bottom 8, 10% below league average. So just kind of want to keep an eye on that number after a couple months. It's still going to be cool enough that I'm not overreacting, but they literally push the walls in a little bit more. That should help out your riding power a little bit. So if you are looking to pick on Garrett Crochet, tap into that $1.25 home run per 9. We certainly got the bats to tap into some power against lefties. I mean, 1 through, even Gary Sanchez is a chip in a chair, puncher's chance there. Man, 1 through 7 is nuts in aggregate ISO against lefties. But Crochet's, he's a different level. So I don't want to say that his, these versus lefty stats are 1-to-1 with Crochet. That's certainly not the case. But there's a talented team in WRC Plus, and pretty much every metric you could split down the line against lefties, and wall adjustment should help them. No pick 6 in Texas. I'm asking for a friend. I actually don't know. I feel like there should be. That seems kind of like PrizePicks. Remember those streams with y'all at Osmo when he started Rosecar, like mini masterclass? So we'd either learn something new or look at baseball situation. Yeah, it's again, maybe I'm self-conscious, but I feel like me and Terry talking about baseball, it's got to be so boring. But you guys are the grinders. Like if you're grinding DFS baseball, especially while NBA's in, you're just built different. So you guys are the target audience for that. But there's a difference between 20 and 30 viewers right now, and then the hundreds of thousands for the other shows. So from a versus the public standpoint, it's just not the same. Speaking of not the same, the Rockies run total is not the same as the rest of the slate. And now we're going to get into the cover boy of this video, Zack Wheeler. My goodness. This is rough. This Rockies offense is rough. Since the beginning of last season, there is not one hitter, Chris Bryant included, that has a positive or league average WRC plus against right-handed pitching. Like, how is that even possible to not have one? There's that one. You turn them around, you got 2 against lefties, so it doesn't get better. My God. If Zack Wheeler fails, it's hashtag DFS. But this guy looks like the lock of the millennium. 6 strong in the day 1, 40% K rate. Just the, I want to say Nationals. 0.67 whip. At this point, I would pitch one of you guys in chat against the Rockies, and whatever happens, happens. Kyle Freeland on the bump for Rockies here. 35% K rate in 6 innings of his last outing seems extremely fake. Came with a 16.4% swing and strike rate. One of these things is not like the other. And I'm tired of getting burnt by Phillies against lefties. But gosh dang it. Let me go see if there's any glaring differences between Freeland's pitching repertoire versus now. was average stuff plus in that one game? No. Good location plus. What about pitch type splits and opening? And we don't even have that. We go to game log and get it. Is that how I gotta do this? They don't have his pitch info. Yeah, okay. I'm just not gonna buy whatever he's selling from game one. If the Phillies fail against another lefty, they should smack. Whatever. I just gotta go back to the well here. Freeland last 2 seasons against righties, a 1.7 home run per 9. Yes, with course pitchers, you always want to put a little bit of an asterisk to kind of appreciate the home field versus the road. So when we go split that even further away versus righties, the home run per 9, that's this season, 24. Last year, away versus righties. He actually had a higher home run per 9 on the road against righties last year. Over 4 xFIP. 346 BABIP is insane. 148 WHIP. A lot of hits allowed. So, the Phillies can't get him. They can't get him, but the numbers are putting me on Zack Wheeler. Should just be... I mean, he might have an 18.5 outs when it's all said and done. If it's not already there. It might already be there. Outs recorded. Zack Wheeler's already at 18.5. Dude, I'm like a beautiful mind. 17.5 for Kyle Freeland, though. I mean, there's a little... that's a little crazy, based on what I just spouted off. So maybe that's the field not buying Phillies against lefties. But man, Zack Wheeler. Basically what this means for you guys, don't bet props. 18.5 is 6 innings and some. And why that's important for me and why you guys should look at it is 6 innings for Fanduel makes him eligible for a quality start, assuming he's allowed 3 or less earned runs. And that's a pretty decently weighted. I think it's 4 points. Plus, you know, it gives you another inning to be in line for the win, and so on and so forth. So I think right now the average outs in the first rotation have been like a lot of 15s, 15.2s. A couple of the GOATs have been in the 17s. I saw I talked about the juice on Jose Barrios yesterday, but that's a good sign if you are like me and you're handcrafting projections. Like, you basically can kind of imply the quality start bonus on FanDuel with a line like that. There's a lot of 17s here. So that's right at the cusp of being eligible for the quality starts, all those 17s. You kind of keep an eye on which side has the VIG. But yeah, Wheeler looks like the FanDuel set and forget it, and being that it's a 4-game slate, like, I'd be surprised if he's less than 50% owned, especially considering what else is on the slate versus the matchups. Yeah, what up, Lone Wolf? I need a tip jar, maybe. I need YouTube to just be like, oh, that's gone, let's just monetize the channel again, and you guys can super chat and click ads or something. But they're making me work for it, dude. I gotta grind 3,000 hours of watch time, which might take a couple months. I think I'm getting between like 100 and 300 hours of watch time on these videos right now. So you do the math. Maybe I'll start putting up short content or something. But I don't sweat the ad revenue too much. But it is a little something. I used to make like between 100 and 300 extra a month on the old channel off of ad revenue alone, not the super chats. And then live streams. These live streams have a little bit more shelf life than the old ones. So when I'm doing the night before, you get 8-10 hours of soak time. It's something. I don't know. I also feel dirty about accepting tips, like I'm a I don't know. I guess that's the whole point of the website, though, is to generate revenue. Yankees hosting the D-backs. 3.9 run total for the D-backs. 4.3 for the Yankees. Minus 135 favorite. Rodon versus Zack Gallen. That could be an exciting matchup. Rodon looked solid enough in his first outing against the Brew Crew. Zack Gallen, 4 innings in the first start for him, opening, whatever. Did not go great for him, actually. Not what you want. But we gotta have goldfish memory with a lot of these ace-like guys, because bad games happen. So I'm not gonna overreact to the disaster against the Cubs. He had 4 walks in that game. And historically, I guess last year he did have a little bit of a walk issue. Hey, where are my other stats here? Hello? Give me all the stats here. What are we doing? What are we doing? Here we go. Zack Gallen, MLB. I feel like an old man just Googling what I want instead of just going to the website and typing his name. In spring, were walks a problem? They kind of were the last 2 games. 2 and 4.1, 3 and 2. So, I mean, it's not a guy I'm not overly concerned about long term about a walk issue, but if you are having issues throwing strikes, and you're looking at Aaron Judge and Cody and the torpedo bats, in the 2 youngest guys in the lineup got into Burns yesterday. Maybe walks could, and this is a decent high walk rate team anyway. Just Goldie, Volpe, and Oswaldo Cabrera have less than an aggregate 11% walk rate when you look at the rest of the team. So just kind of trying to paint a couple pictures of how Gallen could fail. And you're what to watch for if you're a D-backs fan is him throwing strikes and not getting behind in counts against the Yankees. What was his first pitch strike in that first game? Let's go discipline. 52%. So almost half of his battles started in the hole. You gotta keep an eye on that. Anything else to be concerned about with Gallen? Velocity. 92.9 on the fastball. Look at last year. Last year was at 93.7, so there's about a mile per hour, but I'm not. That's not insanely bad for the start of the season where it's a little colder. Now Arizona wasn't that cold, but you get what I'm saying. Usually those arms gotta warm up. So I don't know. I guess I'm kind of leaning stay away. This is a 4 corners game. Just how do we rank these corners? Maybe I'm going a little homer here. I'm gonna go Yankees, and then I'm gonna go D-backs. So not like I'm giving you Rodon. Then I'm gonna go Gallen, and then Carlos Rodon. All right, there's your 4 corners. Yankees stacks in play. D-backs is in play. Yankees are without Devin Williams. He's on paternity leave. The Yankees picked up Adam Ottavino yesterday. Didn't go great. And then Hedrick didn't go great, but I tell you what, there's one kid. Let's go to MLB.com. Like Cortez, maybe. He had a nasty splitter, so we'll keep an eye on that. Ottavino is just kind of a stopgap here to throw some pitches, and wasn't a great. Oh, Cruz, he looked good. 4 strikeouts in 2 innings. That guy is somebody I'm gonna keep an eye on. Timmy Hill got in trouble. I called that yesterday. We might see some lefties out of the pen, whether it be Timmy Hill or Ryan Yarbrough, and that's kind of what we got. And then Ottavino came in, got in trouble, and the game was just kind of lopsided from there. So they do still technically have former D-bag Luke Weaver that I think is your de facto closer in a close game here without Devin Williams. And then Yarbrough is probably somebody you see tomorrow. And because Cruz went 2 innings, you probably don't see him. You're hoping, if you're the Yankees, that Rodon goes deep enough. But Rodon is in a tough spot. This is a D-backs team I like against lefties. They have just 2 guys with elevated K rates against lefties, and this is a lot of OPS, a lot of WRC plus, and Rodon can get a little wild and get a little bit erratic. What we saw yesterday is something to keep an eye on, and something that kind of like talked about in the Discord, because Alec Thomas was projecting as like a solid value, especially if you're on the D-backs stack. Looks like Alec Thomas, you might expect him and Randall Grichuk to kind of platoon each other out. And as soon as Grichuk came in, I think it was off of Timmy Hill, he had a double. So if you're trying to imply at bats, you may not get 4 out of those 2 going forward, depending on the game script. I would assume Randall Grichuk is right there in the thick of it, and Grichuk has been a Yankee killer. Kind of not quite Stephen Pierce, but man, he kind of gives me that vibe. It's like every time he comes around, it's just bad news. Eugenio Suarez is just hitting bombs. And this is a nasty 1 through 6 in the projected when it comes to ISO. And only Eugenio Suarez has an elevated K rate. So this is going to be a tougher spot for Rodon. And he absolutely has shown a problem with losing the strike zone. And he's going against a team that doesn't strike out a ton. And he can have a problem with serving up some bombs. A 1.7 and a 2 homer per 9 in the last 2 seasons. I feel like I'm talking myself into a D-backs over the Yankees there, but either way, I'm offense first here, and then kind of going from there. Kind of a respectful run total, considering the offenses here, but it is in the 40s, and it's a night game. Maybe that's coming into play here, but that's where I'm at on this game. All right, Goldie Revenge, yeah. There's a couple of hey, remember me's. If the barista's looking for a tip for black coffee, I can. Hey guys, that's my thoughts on the Yankees and D-backs. I'm gonna hand you this little iPad. It's just gonna ask you a little question. Bro, it'd be so awkward. It's just gonna ask you a question. Why do you have to put it like that? Just say, and then it's like, I don't know. You guys ever seen the would you like to donate $1 to save a dog? How I kind of feel. Let me adjust this for the last game. All right, it's already there. 1 game left on the docket. I'll take a pause for the cause, let you guys know. I'm gonna say popular request, because one guy asked to hold it off for another day. The MLB Grind season pass is up one more day. So if you guys want to lock in for the rest of the year, tomorrow or throughout April, it's April 2nd, right? You can get every game for the rest of the year, every slate for the rest of the year, spreadsheet access for less than $200 technically, by a penny, and then Wednesday that'll go back to like $250. If not, you can get a week pass, you can get a month pass. My boy Russ, I believe, emailed me, and maybe I haven't tried to do this from my end. I feel like only one out of like 13 or 14 people have had this issue, but you might have to make an account before you upgrade. I'm not sure. But if you have an issue when you do upgrade, just hit me up on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundecker, and DM me, and it'll get you taken care of. And then when you do upgrade, members portal, link to the Discord, link to the spreadsheet, get in the Discord, tag me, let me know you're in there. And then, like I said, I've been trying to pull people What is it that you're looking for to make your subscription more valuable? Are you playing more DFS? Are you playing more prop betting? Are you looking for, tournament picks, or you know what I mean? Just like what is your goals? And that's kind of an advantage that for the moment I'm able to have versus some of the other premium memberships. Is some of these sites are way too big to have that one-on-one. And right now there's only like 12 of y'all. So I can certainly answer some questions. And then sometimes people have questions that help other people. So go from there. MLBgrind.com, get signed up. Last game tonight, the Braves taking on the Dodgers. Blake Snell versus Bryce. Respect your elder. Elder last season, 49.2 innings, pitched 163 whip, 5 expected ERA, 20% K rate. None of that is good, and none of it is what you want. Let's see how his spring campaign went, but I can't imagine there's going to be any range of outcome or scenario, or I'm going to be like, you know what, maybe I will pitch Bryce Elder against the Dodgers. Now that I think about it. 8 innings in March, 8 Ks. You know what? No. 4 walks, 2 homers. 2 of those homers came in the same game. Didn't really throw a lot of pitches. 63 seems to be his cap against Minnesota, and then elevated whip in all of them. So it's just unremarkable output against a remarkable offense. So, yeah, Dodgers almost at a 4 or almost at a 5 run total against a contact pitcher. I keep saying contact pitcher, but he actually had some strikeouts against righties against righties last year. But a lot of lefties in this lineup. So we're going Dodgers offense 1, Blake Snell 2. You want to pick on Blake Snell. It's a very small group, I think. Ozzy, Austin Riley, I guess Matty Else. This team just feels like it hasn't clicked yet. Ozuna. There's a little bit. And maybe we just keep believing, but it's been a very anemic. I'm gonna go Braves Substack if they just feel like fighting. But man, the Dodgers are just so good. Snell obviously above the Braves, so Dodgers, Snell, Braves. Kind of go from there. And that is every game that it will be on April 2nd for your spins. Let's go look at the bomb detector. I gotta add the Fanduel. Aaron Judge at the top, no surprise, always is. Randall Grichuk is 2. Oh. The Yankee killer did. Just a freaking Yankee killer. Just out of curiosity. Is Grichuk home run line available? Is that plus 600? I mean, that doesn't feel crazy. God dang, Seager's at 295. Where's he at on this thing? Seager's 3rd in the bomb detector. That makes you feel good. That he's linear with the betting odds. But so has like all of Texas. That game might get crazy offensively for them. No long shots. All right. So it's gonna be a long day for baseball tomorrow. I'm gonna do my best to. So for the premium members, I'm gonna try to be around for the. I guess for the noon. It'll be around. God dang, dude. Tomorrow's gonna be a very long day for me covering this, isn't it? Let's go. Very early is at 11:40 my time. So probably around 10:30. I need to be here, get tidied up, and then I'll try to come back 90 minutes to 2 hours before the main slate. And hopefully the day nonsense isn't too crazy. But it will be an all-day thing. What's up, Dave? Did you ever play Jock Market Gun? I tried it a little bit. Yeah. I get it. I appreciate being different. It just didn't stick for me. I was also like up to my neck in content and different sites I was grinding. So I'm not at all dogging the product. It's just something that didn't click for me. What's up, Dave? I hope you're doing all right. 600, sprinkle 2 bases as a hedge for Grichuk. Yeah. Just remember, there's a real chance Randall Grichuk's only in there to see Rodon. We saw him pinch hit for Alec Thomas yesterday. So the Yankees turn it to a righty. They might go to Alec Thomas in the middle of Grichuk. So maybe you're not getting all the at-bats you're hoping for. It's not a guarantee they do that, but I would say it's the plan is to platoon those guys. When we get in that Gunn and Terry show, I don't know. Let's look at the schedule. It can't be on a full slate, guys. It just can't be. We talk too much. And it probably needs to be like a 6 to 8 main slate. But man, Terry's doing a lot over there though. He's got to serve basketball, so I don't want to get in the way of that. Saturday looks like a 7-game night slate. Where are the Yankees at on that slate? They play the Pirates in the afternoon. I don't know. We gotta wait for the right pitch. You know what I mean? But we are both absolutely, unless he wants or would be down to join me on like a night before thing. The day of stuff is it's a cluttered airwave. Like I'm 100% game. We might trade appearances. Maybe he'll come on my show and I'll go on his show if he wants me. But I definitely would like once I get past probably this week, where I got to finish, some of the processes and make it more efficient and make sure that everything is streamlined and kind of iron out what my schedule actually is, which right now we're looking at the 10:30 p.m. Central time slot every night. Once that clears, we got all year long, and I'm absolutely game to have something regular with Terry, but it can't be 15 game slates. It just can't. It's got to be 6 to 8ers. You have 2 pitches you favor? I got Wheeler. Yeah. So I guess what slate, Dave? Zack Wheeler is my top pitcher on the entire slate, or on the entire day, I would say. Who was the other one you mentioned? Valdez, Framber. Yeah, I don't mind Framber. I mean, Paul Skeens exists. It's a good day for pitching. The weather permitted, Pablo's in a decent spot against a beatable team. Skubal versus Castillo should be just a pitching clinic. It's a good day for pitching, man. Dylan Cease against a Guardians team that strikes out more than recent history. Clay Holmes is in a great spot. Massive favorite. Should have plenty of bullets in the tank. I expect him to positive regression on the strikeout, swing and strikeout stuff against this Marlins team. Crochet if you're nasty. It's a good day for pitching. Easily. Terry likes those tuna sandwiches from the bodega. No, thank you. Can you go over some good hit picks? What's up, Eddie? Some good hit picks. All right, so again, slate's subjective. What slate are you grinding here? My favorite stacks for the second day in a row. I feel like the Diamondbacks are prime for a good offensive game. I think the Yankees could punch back. I'm not too scared of like a talented righty. I certainly don't expect them to hit 5-7 homers, whatever. But right now, I would say the D-backs make a lot of sense to me. The Athletics I was on, surprisingly. If you wanted to pick a specific, dude, 5,600 for Brent Rooker. They don't let us have nothing, man. What are we doing? But I do like the A's. Brent Rooker. Lawrence Butler looks interesting. Picking on those lefty power splits for Tyon. Do I prefer small slates or large? I probably 6 to 8. 6 to 8 is my wheelhouse. Like I was telling Miss Julia earlier, when you get every team on the same slate, that's when your anomaly performances, your double dongs and triple dongs start really jacking stuff up, and you're just kind of dead in the water if you ain't got that as far as taking down first. And then the smaller slates, if you're a mass multi-answer guy, you can play every angle, or if you're even limited, 10 lineups or less, 20 lineups or less, you can leverage the field a lot easier as chalk coagulates a lot more obviously. Whereas the medium to big slates, you're going to see just about every team is going to be between 4 and 8% aggregate ownership, unless it's like Coors. But I don't know if Coors is going to be. I guess the away teams are going to be crazy this year. But yeah, Skeens and School Bowl attack Sacramento game. I think that's a good strat, Mr. Dave. If you could make that work. I much prefer the athletic side in terms of matchup. I actually do respect Jeffrey Springs and his talent. Kyle Tucker's a lead against both sides of the plate. Seiya Suzuki is good. If you want to keep attacking a hot offense, sure. But I actually think the Athletics have a juicier matchup. And I like the Padres too. I think the Padres against Ben Lively. Lively is very hittable. And you get the I tell you what, I did the ballpark splits. I'm kind of curious here. Factors, baseball, savant. What's the difference in San Diego from night games to day games, Day game, rolling 3 years for Petco. It's not much. Actually, 1% below average in 14 parks that don't have a roof. What about homers? 100. They're 4% above average, so it's not like a crazy tangible. Let's update it. Yeah, it's nothing. All right, I was just thinking out loud there. What about the Rockies? I feel attacked. Yeah, Rockies are not looking good. Speaking of weather, is that what you said? When it gets hot, that's the ballpark to target. Oh, the Sacramento field. Yeah. The Steinbrenner field, man. I wish it wasn't two really good pitchers, because it's like temps could be pushing 90 degrees. But man, that's some good pitching, especially on the Pirates side. All right, that's gonna do it. I'll be around for a little bit, tidying up some things in the spreadsheet. If you guys are in the Discord, looks like somebody jumped in here. Who's that? It won't show me your name. Shout out to W. Appreciate you signing up. Stick around this time. Glad you came back. It won't show me your name. What if I maximize it? Is that just your display name? Are you trolling me? No, it looks like everybody's like that. Hey. Okay, well, whoever W is, thank you for signing up. I'll be back tomorrow. we'll aim for 10:30 again and do another breakdown. We're trying to do every day as much as possible. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you tomorrow. Twitter.com/GunDecker if you get anything else for me. Otherwise, see you guys in the Discord, man. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.